There's a version of me that's dead now. I killed him. Not literally, but deliberately, methodically, the way you'd starve something until it stops moving. He used to rehearse award speeches in the shower, bookmarked articles about top 30 under 30 lists, screenshot every notification, every metric, every microscopic proof that he existed in a way that mattered. He'd wake up at 2 a.m. in a cold sweat, not from nightmares, but from the gnawing fear that he'd die having changed nothing, left no mark, dissolved into the same oblivion as everyone else. That version of me kept a folder on his desktop labeled Future Biography Material. He practiced his signature like someone might actually want it one day. He calculated exactly how many people would come to his funeral and whether any of them would cry hard enough to mean something. He wanted statues, permanence, proof. I want Tuesdays. And the gap between those two things, that's where I found something that feels dangerously close to peace. Or maybe it's surrender. I'm still not sure which. You'll be forgotten in 100 years. Not might be, will be. Everyone watching this, everyone you've ever loved, everyone who's ever known your name, or your face, or the sound of your laugh, gone, erased. The world will continue spinning with the exact same indifference it showed before you arrived. No Wikipedia page, no legacy, no carefully curated digital footprint that anyone will bother to excavate. Just silence, so complete, it's almost violent. Your great-great-grandchildren won't know your middle name. They won't know what you were afraid of, what you sacrificed, what kept you awake at night. You'll be a date on a family tree, if that. More likely, you'll be nothing at all. That should destroy you. It rebuilt me. Because here's the thing nobody tells you about chasing immortality. It's a hunger that grows with feeding. That version of me who needed to be remembered. Every achievement just sharpened the terror. Every milestone was just evidence that the next one mattered even more, meant even more. Because what if that's the one that finally makes me permanent? What if I stop now and everything I've done just evaporates? He was building a monument to his own fear, and he called it ambition. I want Tuesdays. And I know that sounds insane, sounds small, sounds like exactly the kind of thing that forgotten people tell themselves to cope with being forgotten. Maybe it is, but I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. What it cost me to get here. What I had to cut out of myself to finally stop bleeding for an audience that won't exist. The person I used to be would call this failure. He'd call it giving up. He'd say I betrayed everything we were supposed to become. And he'd be right. Let me show you what happens when you finally stop building your life for ghosts who will never come. When you stop performing for a future that will never remember the performance. This is what's on the other side of your own erasure. And I need to warn you, once you see it, you can't unsee it. I want you to try something with me right now. Say your great-great-grandfather's name out loud right now. Can't do it, can you? Maybe you know your grandfather's name, maybe even your great-grandfather's, if your family kept good records or told good stories. But go back one more generation and there's just nothing. A blank space where an entire human life used to be. Someone who loved, who suffered, who stayed awake at night, worrying about things that felt monumentally important at the time, and you don't even know his name. That's not a failure of your memory. That's not because you're a bad person or your family didn't care enough. That's just how time works. That's just what happens. The earth swallows us, and then it swallows the memory of us, and then it swallows the memory of the memory. 4 generations, that's all it takes for complete erasure. I started calculating this 2 years ago, not in a morbid way, or maybe it was morbid, I don't know anymore, but I needed to understand the mechanics of my own disappearance. If I live to 80, I'll die around 2075. The people at my funeral, assuming I have one, will mostly be gone by 2100. Their children, the ones who might have a vague secondhand memory of, oh yeah, my parent mentioned someone named, they'll be gone by 2014. By 2015, there will be no one alive who has any living connection to anyone who knew me. I will be archaeologically dead, not just biologically dead, but socially, culturally, personally extinct. And here's the part that broke something in me. The same is true for almost everyone I've ever admired. The people I've competed with, envied, measured myself against. The ones who seem to have it all figured out, who are building empires, in brands, in legacies. In 150 years, we'll all be the same flavor of forgotten. The CEO and the barista, the influencer and the nurse, the best-selling author and the person who never wrote a word. All of us, just names on documents nobody reads, faces in photographs nobody looks at, voices on recordings nobody plays. I sat with that for weeks, months, actually. It felt like staring into a void that was staring back. And then something strange happened. The breaking point came on a Thursday. I was in a meeting, a strategy session for a project I'd been building for 3 years. Something I genuinely believed would matter. We were discussing market positioning, competitive advantages, how to maximize impact and reach, all the language of mattering, of making a dent in the universe. And I looked around the table at these brilliant, driven people, all of us convinced we were building something significant. And I had this thought that I couldn't shake. None of this will exist in 200 years. Not the company, not the product, not the problem we're solving. Because that problem will either be solved by then or replaced by different problems. The building we're sitting in will be demolished or repurposed. The technology we're using will be comically obsolete. The way we look at telegraph operators now. And I realized I wasn't building this for the people it would help. I was building it for the story I'd tell about having built it. I was constructing evidence, proof of significance, ammunition against my own mortality. I was performing for an audience that would never exist. That meeting ended, and I went home, and I didn't tell anyone, but something fundamental had shifted. It felt like a load-bearing wall had been removed from my psychology, and now I was just waiting to see what would collapse. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing all the ways I'd organized my entire life around being remembered. The way I'd turn experiences into stories before they'd even finished happening, already narrating them for future retellings. The way I'd calculate the strategic value of every relationship. Is this person connected? Could they help my trajectory? Will knowing them make me more knowable? The way I couldn't enjoy a vacation without documenting it. Couldn't read a book without highlighting quotable sections I might use later. Couldn't have a conversation without unconsciously auditioning my best lines, my sharpest observations, my most memorable takes. I wasn't living my life. I was curating evidence that my life had been worth living. And the exhausting part, it worked. I was successful by most metrics. Growing audience, growing income, growing influence in my small corner of the world. Every month brought new proof that the strategy was working, that I was building something that mattered. But I couldn't sleep. Not because I was stressed, because I was haunted by the question, what am I actually doing this for? If the end result is the same erasure for everyone, if legacy is a comforting lie we tell ourselves, if the universe has the same indifference for the accomplished and the obscure, then what's the point of any of this? And that's when I realized I'd been asking the wrong question. The question isn't, how do I avoid being forgotten? The question is, what do I actually want from the time I have? Let me tell you about a Tuesday. Not last Tuesday, a Tuesday from 3 months ago. An unremarkable one, the kind that disappears into the blur of weeks, that blend into months, that blur into years. I woke up without an alarm, made coffee the slow way, the pour-over method that takes too long and definitely isn't worth the marginal improvement in taste. But I do it anyway, because I like the ritual. Sat on my back porch and watched the morning light change the color of the trees in my yard. My daughter came outside, still in her pajamas, holding her stuffed elephant. She's 7. She climbed into my lap without saying anything, and we just sat there. She pointed at a bird. I don't know what kind. We watched it hop around on the fence. After a while, she said, "Dad, do you think that bird knows we're watching it?" And we spent 20 minutes talking about bird consciousness and whether animals know they're being observed and whether trees can feel when you touch them. Deep philosophical territory for 7 a.m. But she was genuinely curious and I was genuinely present, and it was just good. I had work to do, emails piling up, a deadline approaching, projects that mattered. But in that moment, sitting there with coffee going cold and a 7-year-old theologian in my lap, I realized, this is what I want. Not the memory of this, not the story I'll tell about this, not evidence that I'm a good father or present parent or any of the performance metrics we use to grade ourselves. Just this, the thing itself, the actual texture of a moment that won't be remembered by anyone, but will have been real. That's what I mean by Tuesdays. The version of me who wanted statues couldn't have sat through that conversation. He'd have been checking his phone, mentally drafting content, calculating opportunity cost. 20 minutes with no productive output? 20 minutes that couldn't be monetized or leveraged or transformed into proof of anything? That version of me would have called it a waste. This version of me knows it was the point, because here's what I've figured out. If you're going to be forgotten anyway, if erasure is the guaranteed endpoint, regardless of what you achieve, then the only rational response is to optimize for the texture of your actual days, rather than the theoretical memory of your cumulative years. Statues are for other people to remember you by. Tuesdays are for you to actually live through. And I know how that sounds. I know it sounds like rationalization, like the kind of thing someone says when they've given up on mattering, when they've accepted defeat and dressed it up as wisdom. Maybe that's exactly what it is. But let me tell you what happened when I stopped trying to matter in the permanent way and started trying to matter in the immediate way. I turned down a promotion 8 months ago, not because the job was bad. It was exactly the kind of opportunity the old version of me had been architecting his entire career toward. More money, more influence, more prestigious title, to add to the biography that no one would read. But it would have required relocating. Different city, different time zone, different life. And I looked at my daughter and I did the math. She's 7 now. In 11 years, she'll leave for college. I have 11 years of Tuesdays left before she's gone. Maybe we'll stay close, maybe we won't. But either way, these specific years, the ones where I'm still the most important person in her world, where she still wants to sit in my lap and ask me questions about birds, these are finite and they're happening now. The promotion would have taken me away from that. Not completely. I'd still be her father. We'd still have weekends, holidays, video calls, all the ways modern life lets us be technically present while being functionally absent. But I'd miss the Tuesdays, the unremarkable ones, the ones that don't make good stories or photograph well or matter to anyone who isn't in them. And I realized, if I'm going to be forgotten anyway, if none of my achievements will echo past my great-great-grandchildren, then what exactly am I sacrificing these moments for? I turned it down. My wife thought I was insane. My parents definitely thought I was throwing away my potential. Some of my friends got awkwardly quiet, the way people do, when they think you're making a catastrophic mistake, but they're too polite to say it directly. And maybe they're right. Maybe in some parallel universe, there's a version of me who took that job, built something incredible, actually achieved the permanence I used to crave. Maybe that version will be remembered slightly longer than this one. But that version won't have this morning, or last Tuesday, or the 1,000 small moments I'm collecting instead of achievements. I started subtracting other things too. Deleted my LinkedIn. Not dramatically, not as a statement, just quietly. Because I realized I was spending hours every week maintaining a professional identity for an audience of strangers who wouldn't remember me either way. Stop tracking metrics on the work I do put out into the world. Views, likes, shares, all the quantified validation that used to spike my cortisol every time I checked. It still goes out there. People still see it, or they don't. But I stopped treating it like a scoreboard. Cut my social circle by about 70%. Not out of cruelty, just honesty. There were relationships I was maintaining purely out of networking instinct. People I didn't actually enjoy spending time with, but who felt strategically important. I let those fade. The ones that remained got more of me. The actual me, not the performed version. And here's the strange part. I'm happier. Not in the accomplishment way. I'm objectively less successful than I was 2 years ago, by every metric I used to care about. Smaller income, smaller audience, smaller ambitions. But I sleep through the night now. I can sit in silence without my brain immediately flooding with all the things I should be doing, should be building, should be optimizing. I can be in a moment without narrating it. And maybe that's just what giving up feels like. Maybe I've just gotten really good at rationalizing my own retreat from significance. But it doesn't feel like giving up. It feels like I finally stopped running toward a finish line that doesn't exist. Here's the part that's hard to say out loud. I don't think legacy is just overrated. I think it might be a trap. Not for everyone. Maybe some people genuinely build things that echo forward in meaningful ways. Maybe some contributions really do ripple across generations. But for most of us, the ones who aren't Einstein or MLK or Shakespeare, legacy is just the lie we tell ourselves to justify present tense suffering. Work the extra hours, miss the recital, skip the vacation, sacrifice the relationship. It's okay because you're building something that will outlast you. You're playing the long game, except the long game ends in the same place for everyone. The grave swallows the accomplished and the lazy with equal efficiency. So what if we're actually trading the only thing we definitely have, which is right now, for a thing we definitely won't have, which is being remembered? What if ambition, at least the way we've been taught to practice it, is just a sophisticated form of self-harm? I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm not saying don't build things or create things or try to make your corner of the world better. I'm saying check your motivation. Are you doing it because it brings you alive in the present? Because the work itself is satisfying? Because it connects you to people you care about or expresses something true about who you are? Or are you doing it to construct a monument to your own fear of disappearing? Because one of those is sustainable and generative and might actually make your limited time on Earth feel meaningful in the moment-to-moment way. And the other is just a slow-motion act of violence against your own finite existence. The version of me who wanted statues was committing that violence every single day. He was so obsessed with the theoretical future that he was functionally absent from his actual life. He missed his daughter's first steps because he was on a work call. He forgot his anniversary because he was chasing a deadline. He sat across from his wife at dinner and couldn't tell you what she'd said because he was mentally drafting his next project. And he told himself it was okay because he was building something. He was working towards significance. He was going to matter. Except he wouldn't. Not in the permanent way. Not any more than the person who showed up for the first steps and remembered the anniversary and listened at dinner. The math doesn't change based on how hard you work. The erasure comes for all of us. So maybe the real question is, do you want to be remembered by people who won't exist? Or do you want to be present for the life you're actually living? Last week, my daughter asked me what I do for work. Not in the what's your job title way, in the why do you do it way. She's starting to notice that I leave sometimes, that I have responsibilities outside of being her dad, that there's this whole part of my life she's not in. And I realized I didn't have a good answer. The old answer would have been about impact, about reach, about trying to build something meaningful that would help people. And that's not wrong exactly, but it wasn't complete. So I told her the truth. I do work that's interesting to me, but not so much that it takes me away from you and Mom. I try to make enough money that we don't have to worry, but not so much that making it becomes the main thing I'm doing. And I try to do it in a way that feels honest. She thought about that for a second and then said, "That sounds boring." And I laughed because she's right. It is boring. Compared to the grand ambitions I used to carry, compared to the version of me who wanted to change the world and be remembered for it, this is intensely, almost aggressively boring. I'm not building an empire. I'm not disrupting an industry. I'm not on a path to being a case study in business schools or the subject of a biography. I'm just trying to have enough good Tuesdays before I run out of them. But here's what I'm protecting now that I wasn't protecting before. My daughter's childhood. The actual texture of it, not the curated highlights. The boring parts, the repetitive parts, the parts that won't make good stories, but are the majority of what it actually means to raise a human. My marriage, not as a supporting structure for my ambitions, but as a thing that's valuable in itself. Time with my wife that has no agenda, no purpose beyond being together. My own attention, the ability to be where I am, doing what I'm doing, without the constant background hum of all the other things I should be doing instead. My sleep, my health, my friendships, all the things the old version of me treated as negotiable, as things I could sacrifice now and recover later, once I'd achieved whatever milestone I was currently chasing. And here's the thing about protecting those things. You can't do it halfway. You can't say, I value presence while checking your phone during dinner. You can't say, family is my priority while taking calls during your kid's soccer game. You can't say, I'm done performing while still calculating how every conversation might serve your brand. It requires actual subtraction, actual sacrifice, actual choices, or you pick the thing that won't echo forward and let go of the thing that might. And those choices are uncomfortable. They feel like failure. They feel like you're letting yourself down, letting down everyone who believed in your potential, letting down the version of yourself who had bigger dreams. But they also feel like breathing after holding your breath for years. I need to be honest about what this cost, because I can make it sound easy, make it sound like some enlightened choice where I transcended my ego and found peace. But that's not quite right. I lost friendships, not dramatically, but people I used to be close with, people whose entire lives are organized around achievement and significance and building things that matter. We don't have much to talk about anymore. They're still running the race I dropped out of, and dropping out makes you a different species. I lost respect. I can feel it sometimes in conversations with former colleagues or people who knew the old version of me. This subtle shift, in how they see me. Like I used to be promising, and now I'm just neutral. Another person who had potential and didn't fully realize it. I lost the chemical hit of validation, the dopamine spike of notifications, metrics going up, evidence that what I'm doing is working. That was a real thing, and it's gone now, and sometimes I miss it, the way you'd miss any drug after quitting. And I lost a story about myself that I'd been telling since childhood, the one where I was special, where my life was building towards something significant, where all the struggle and sacrifice would eventually be worth it because I'd matter in a way that most people don't. That story is dead, and even though I'm the one who killed it, I still mourn it sometimes. But here's what I got in exchange: time. Actual time, not theoretical future time. Hours in my days that aren't spoken for. Mornings where I wake up without dread. Evenings that don't bleed into work because I couldn't finish everything I needed to accomplish to stay on track toward mattering. Attention, the ability to be fully in a moment instead of narrating it, instead of calculating its strategic value, instead of thinking about what comes next. Honesty, I don't have to pretend anymore, don't have to perform competence or confidence or ambition I don't actually feel. The gap between who I am and who I'm pretending to be has collapsed, and that's such a relief. I don't have adequate language for it. And yeah, I got Tuesdays, the boring, unremarkable ones, the ones that won't make good stories, the ones that will be completely forgotten, not just by the world, but by me, because they're not designed to be memorable. They're designed to be lived through. That's the trade. Significance for presence, performance for peace, a potential legacy for an actual life. And some days I wonder if I made the wrong choice. Some days I see someone I used to compete with, achieving something impressive, and I feel that old hunger kick back in. What if I could have had that? What if I quit too early, gave up too easily, rationalized my own retreat? Those days are harder. Those days feel like failure. But then my daughter comes out to the back porch, in her pajamas, holding her elephant, wanting to talk about whether birds have consciousness. And I realize, I'm here, fully here, not divided, not performing, not calculating the opportunity cost of this conversation. Just here. And maybe that's not enough. Maybe I should want more. Maybe I'm settling. Or maybe I finally figured out what enough actually means. So where does that leave us? You're still going to be forgotten. That hasn't changed. This video hasn't solved mortality or erasure or the fundamental indifference of time. In 100 years, maybe 150, you'll be completely gone from collective memory. All your achievements, all your relationships, all your carefully constructed proof that you mattered, it'll all fade into the same silence that claimed everyone before you. That's still true, but here's what else is true. You have right now, this moment, the one you're in, and you get to decide what you do with it. You can spend it building monuments to your fear of disappearing, constructing legacy, achieving things that might, if you're very lucky and very strategic, echo slightly longer than average before they also disappear. Or you can spend it being present for your actual life, the boring parts, the unmemorable parts, the parts that won't impress anyone or prove anything, but will have been real. Neither choice is wrong. I'm not here to tell you that ambition is bad or that wanting to matter is somehow morally inferior to not wanting to matter. Maybe some people really are called to build big things. Maybe some legacies really are worth the sacrifice. But I think we've been lied to about which choice is which. We've been told that presence is settling, that contentment is giving up, that if you're not constantly striving for more, then you're not living up to your potential. And I think that's backwards. I think spending your finite time trying to matter to people who won't exist, is the real act of giving up. Giving up on the life you actually have in favor of a theoretical life that will be remembered. And I think being fully present for the boring, beautiful, unremarkable moments of your actual existence is the most radical choice you can make in a world that's trying to convince you to perform instead of live. So here's my answer to, you'll be forgotten in 100 years. Now what? Now you stop performing. Now you stop building monuments. Now you stop treating your life like it's evidence in some cosmic trial where you have to prove you deserved to exist. Now you show up for Tuesday. You have coffee with someone you love. You watch birds. You have conversations with 7-year-olds about consciousness. You do work that's interesting but not consuming. You build things that matter to you without needing them to matter to history. You live like someone who's going to be forgotten because you are. And once you really accept that, once you let it reshape how you spend your days, something strange happens. You stop being afraid, not of dying. You'll still be afraid of that, probably. I am. But you stop being afraid of not mattering. Because mattering is a moving target, a game you can't win, a trap that keeps you performing instead of living. And once you're not afraid of not mattering, you're free. Free to be mediocre, free to be present, free to optimize for Tuesdays instead of statues, free to live like you're going to be forgotten, because you are, and that's okay. The version of me who wanted statues is dead. I killed him, and I don't regret it. But I also don't know if I'm right about any of this. Maybe in 10 years I'll look back at this and cringe at how wrong I was. Maybe I'll regret all the opportunities I turned down, all the ambitions I abandoned, all the ways I could have mattered more if I just tried harder. Maybe, but I'll have had the Tuesdays. And right now, sitting here, knowing what I know about erasure and memory and the fundamental impermanence of everything we build, that feels like enough. I hope it can be enough for you too.